Yo, what is up YouTube? I'm back with another video. I know it's been a while and I haven't uploaded in a really long time, but I just want to come to you guys, and after making like my first-ish kind of Roblox game, I just want to go over what to do and how to plan out your game properly so you make sure it actually gets out. Because I feel like, especially when you're making a game, planning it out is one of the most important steps. Setting due dates and really, making the game is really the last step in the whole process of like completing the project. So I just want to go over what I think is most important for planning out your game, and let's get right into it. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Alright, to start, you want to make something called a game design document, or a GDD for short. What it is basically just like a document, usually like a Google Doc or a PowerPoint, and it has everything your game needs to be like completed, and it includes things like your systems for your game, your scripts, builds, how you're going to do your cover art for your game, really things of that nature. It usually has some pictures on it, and it has like a description of like the basic concept your game is going to have. So when creating one of these documents, what you want to do is make sure you take your time and go in detail on these documents, because the more detail the better. So make sure you're going in a lot of detail and set due dates on the things that you're going to be completing. So what you want to do is you want to make a list of all the systems, the buildings, and everything you need completed, and put a due date next to it, and put a little checkbox. I like using the checkboxes. Put a little checkbox and put a due date, and once you complete the thing, check it off and work on the next thing, and make sure you put a due date. I'm saying it a lot, but I'm emphasizing it because it's really important. A due date will really keep you on track, especially when making like a big project or a mid-sized project. But when you're making your first game, you don't want to make it too big. So going on to the next section, which I just said, don't make a huge game for your first game. It's gonna be really demotivating. So at first, you're gonna be motivated to make a big game because you're like, oh, I have all these good ideas. There's gonna be a sick combat system. There's gonna be a huge map. There's gonna be a whole bunch of NPC ships fighting, all this stuff, right? But you don't want to do that, because what I'm gonna tell you right now, if you're not naturally disciplined, or you don't have a lot of discipline, you're not going to complete this project, and you're going to get, if it's a really big game, maybe 10% of the way through and quit. So what you want to do is you want to start with a small game. You want to start with a game that can improve your skills. So not really like a cash grab, but you want to monetize it. You want to have almost like, shoot for like a cash grab, maybe a little bit higher quality, so you can really hone your skills. And maybe if you monetize it, like I just said, you can actually use the money you make from monetizing the game to fund your future projects, which would be really nice. So going on, what kind of game should you make? A cash grab or a high quality game? Well, for your first game, like I said, you should probably make a cash grab, but don't really focus on the money too much. I know I'm saying cash grab, but don't worry about the money. Focus on the quality of the game, and then once your game is done, focus on monetizing it and making your game the best it can look to attract players. So on the next section here, we have something called a minimum viable product. A minimum viable product. So if you guys follow ROBLOX, he made a video about this. It's basically just the minimum viable product. It's the product, it's the basics you need for your game to be playable. So for example, if you're making a shooter game, for your minimum viable product, you might make something, let's say, you might make the gun system, and you might make the round system in one map, and an intermission map or something like that. So what you would do is, like I just said, make the gun system, intermission map, the round system, and that's it. That's your minimum viable product. So after you're done with the minimum viable product, what you want to do is now you can go ahead and add on to it, because you have the basics for your game laid out. And you're not going to even get to that minimum viable product if you don't plan your game. So like the number one step is make that game design document and make sure you plan in detail. It's gonna take a while, but just make sure you get that done. So yeah, a minimum viable product. So after you have your minimum viable product done, you can add to it little by little, polish the things that were really done almost not lazily, but the things that don't really have quality to them. It's really just purely for function. So for example, instead of your gun system, yeah, you'd have a gun system, but let's say you would add more guns. Instead of having one map, you would add more maps. Maybe make the maps higher quality. Maybe add sound effects to your game, walking, different materials, gun sounds, obviously. And just make it interactive. People like interactive stuff. Interactive stuff attracts players. And yeah, what I'd like to call the second one, like once you have your minimum product done, almost like the median viable product, and then you have like the maximum, like super high quality. But don't worry about the maximum product, just worry about getting the minimum product, and then once you have that minimum product, make sure you get to the median-ish product. But yeah. Now lastly, you want to be able to monetize your game, because obviously once you make the game, you want to be able to make money from it. So there's simple ways to monetize your game. You know, a lot of times you see stuff like VIP, but usually there's two main ways of making money. That's game passes and developer products. Now, a game pass, like I said, is something like VIP. It's the one-time thing that you buy and you don't buy it again. So like maybe VIP, let's say you're making like a gacha game, maybe like a auto spin system or a skip spin system, something like that. That's a game pass. A developer product is something you can buy over and over and over again an infinite amount of times as long as you have the Robux. So an example of a developer product would be coins in your game. You can buy as many coins as you want. You can't only buy it once, right? So you want to be able to use those two things to your advantage. And lastly, also make your game almost addictive, because there's also one last way to make money, and that's premium payouts. So when a premium member plays your game, Roblox will pay you a little bit of Robux for them playing. It's usually, I think for an hour, they pay you like 10 Robux if a premium player plays your game. So make your game addictive and make it fun to play. And yeah, lastly, don't forget to give up. You're gonna have your ups and downs when you're like developing, so you really can't forget to give up. You have to push through. Sometimes, even if you make sure you have fun, don't give up, because I know sometimes you might not have fun, but you got to push through if you want to get to that minimum viable product and you want to release that game. So don't give up and have fun while you're developing. If you got something out of this video, thank you for watching to the end, obviously, and drop a like if you got some value out of this, and subscribe if you want to see more content like this. So thank you for sticking to the end, and have a good night. Bye.